Happy birthday, Katie!
Happy birthday, Jim.
Knit a Spell is 2 years old.
We're going into our third season of the show, and I can't even believe it.
This is like an LTR.
Oh, what?
A long-term relationship.
Oh my God, you're like totally right.
I like how you're an old lady in a millennial's body.
Tell me something I don't know. I've heard that my whole life.
Maybe that's a millennial trait, is this irony within youth. Just love it. Because we relate so well.
Everyone's my contemporary, except for anyone younger than me.
Yeah. Anachronisms are us.
That's right. Light from Lantern presents Knit a Spell. I'm magical maker, Katie Rempe.
And I'm the maker of magic, James Devine.
Join us as we stitch together the symbiotic relationship between crafting
and the craft. I am so thrilled to be in this podcast for 2 years, except for maybe one or two exceptions. Every single week, we have been bringing you Knit a Spell.
Some of those weeks were extenuating circumstances from full-on natural disasters.
Like a hurricane.
So we thought in this episode, we would have a celebration of our birthday, a little reflection on our past, and a little teaser on what's to come.
One of the things that I think we don't do enough of in life is reflection. And that's what I'm hoping to do on this episode.
Well, let's do it together. So it's 2. We're toddling around. We're chewing on stuff.
Yeah, the terrible 2s, walking around, breaking stuff.
Learning
How
the
does
world.
this thing work?
You only learn by messing it up, just like you're knitting.
Yeah, we need to like toddler-proof the interwebs because our podcast is coming to break it.
Ooh, this is our year of breaking stuff. Ooh,
yeah.
Join us as we record every episode from the rec room or whatever they're called. What were they called?
Oh yeah, with rec room spelled with a W.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, the breakup room or whatever.
The rage room.
Rage room, that was it. Yeah. I like the rec room. I feel like that's a missed opportunity. Maybe it's out there already.
Maybe we need to open a rec room with a W.
TM, guys, we already have that.
Copyright.
Yes, that's
Don't
right.
mess with our ideas.
How dare you?
No.
Yeah. So, Jim, one thing that I want to say is that these past 2 years, I would not have a podcast without you. And I'm sure I've said this before, but you were the idea behind this. You have been like the energizing force into keeping us going. And you've offered me the accountability that actually keeps this happening every week. So truly, when I say I couldn't have done this without you, I fully mean it. And the fact that you've helped me expand my magical horizons too is just a bonus on top of spending time with you.
Gosh, Katie, that is so sweet. It's so funny because they say do what you love and you'll feel you're not working at all. That's what it really feels like to me. I'm like, I feel like I'm not doing hardly anything, but it's because I am doing, and I love it. It's so much fun to meet with you every week, twice a week on our planning meetings and our recording sessions, and just have fun and bring up ideas and call people, send emails to all the many people that I know in the magical community and learn about knitting and crafting and the different things. It's so fascinating to collaborate and have ideas with you. And just our friendship has been phenomenal to meet somebody who is, I don't know, so cool and that we get along so well. I think that's what's so fantastic.
Yes, it was an immediate connection that over time has just proven to be even stronger. So clearly we're onto something.
From that fateful DM, getting back to like how we started, if you are a newer listener and you don't know our origin story, this is the funniest thing that I think we should reground on. Here I am, Divine Hand Jim on Instagram, and I have a decent amount of followers and I'm just plugging along. And as you do when you have a few thousand followers, you get occasional direct messages, people wanting free readings or just random stuff. And sure enough, here's another random DM request from someone that I'm not following, which is something to the effect of, have you ever thought about people's hands and their hand position when they're knitting. And why the heck would I ever do that? I mean, there's no reason. I have never posted anything about knitting or anything like that on my site necessarily. Maybe I had once posted something about my boyfriend Michael knitting me a cloak. Is that why you sent that to me, or had you not seen that?
No, I had no idea. I was in Florida visiting my folks, and I was just scrolling on Instagram in the discovery section, as you do, because the algorithms start to change once you're looking at different stuff. So I was looking up magic things. How are they relating to knitting? Somehow your account showed up. You were maybe doing a live feed or stream or something. And I thought, oh, okay, palmist. I guess we'll see how legit this person is. And you were so charming and charismatic and so comfortable with the material. And I was like, oh, his viewpoints on this makes me wonder if I'm holding my knitting needles a certain way, or I have the yarn that I'm holding over here, or if I'm left-handed versus right-handed. Does that mean anything? And would people find this interesting? I don't know. Maybe this guy will find it interesting, or perhaps he'll think I'm totally crazy and I will never hear a reply. I guess I'll just try reaching out and see. And that's what happened.
So you sent a DM and I read the DM. I could have just been like, what the heck? And delete. But no, because at that time, when I would sit down in the living room, to my right side is Michael, who is sitting there knitting. And to my left side, Richard, who is sitting there crocheting. And here I am in the middle, flipping on my phone and just doom scrolling with my thumb. Isn't there a song? Knitting to the right of me, crochet to my left, here I am.
Doom scrolling here on my phone. Yeah, something like that. That's it.
Yeah, something like that.
Huh?
And it was just so relevant because Michael had just finished this gorgeous, he calls it a boy cozy, but cloak in green and purple that he had over 2 years hand spun, dyed, plied, knitted for me with a long purple hood. Gorgeous piece. Richard was crocheting because he had seen Michael knitting and wanted to do something. And I was actually fascinated by this question because it was something intelligent and not, hey, handsome, or
hey, Jem, do you want a free reading?
We can get you to the top of Instagram with our 5-point program, or whatever other BS you always get. So when you got the reply back from me,
I was, first of all, ecstatic to get any reply, let alone one that was like, this is such an interesting question. I never thought about it, but I'm literally surrounded by crafters in my own home. And now I'm curious to learn more. Let's talk about it. And we ended up having a couple of Zoom conversations just to chat. And then at one point you said, this would be such an excellent content for a podcast.
Yeah.
Which I said, okay, I don't know how to make a podcast. My brother figured it out. I have a resource. Let's give it a shot. 2 years later, here we are. Finish each other's sentences. So cute.
In that same period of time, I thought, gosh, maybe she lives in Ohio or Florida.
Right.
No, you live what, 45, 50 minutes away from me?
Yeah, very close. We're basically in the same city, certainly within the same state. What the heck odds? Fate had it written in the stars.
So all month is going to be our birthday celebration.
So our schedule up ahead will be celebrating our birthday all month long. Today, obviously, we're talking here one-on-one, but we're going to have awesome best of clips from our favorite episodes from our guests. So be sure to tune in. And if you want to, we'd also really love to hear your feedback. If you want to share some of your favorite moments that you've had just while listening, whether it's from this past year or any time, we would always love to hear from you. Please send us an email at knitaspellpodcast@gmail.com, or you can visit knitaspell.com and send it through our contact form at the bottom. Either way, we would love to hear from you.
Best of episodes are so much fun. I always love that because you get a little snippet of whatever we think is some of the best moments. Gosh, I'm immediately thinking about several off the top of my head, but you're going to have to wait until the best of episode to hear some of those. And we also have some of the best interactions with some of our listeners writing in or sending us videos or other interactions. Those have made such a big difference for us. Here we are podcasting out into the ether. And man, when we get an email back from you or a form back from you on how the podcast has helped you or transformed you, there's nothing better.
Yes. And if we get enough feedback from viewers, we may consider, and we've talked about this before, adding maybe like a viewer mail segment, like a Q&A kind of thing. So let us know if that's something you'd be interested in too, and we will consider it.
Shall we
Jim,
take a break?
yes, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will finish up this first amazing episode of season 3. We'll be right back. Hey, Knit fans. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode. If you're enjoying the show, consider joining us on Patreon. Jim and I post weekly commentaries on our episodes, host monthly polls, share behind-the-scenes footage and outtakes, all while supporting one of your favorite podcasts. To learn more and sign up, visit patreon.com/Light from Lantern. While you're there, you can also explore my new tier, Coven of Knitters, a perfect place for knitters who are interested in broadening the way that knitting and magic can be combined. Join the Knitispell Patreon for just $13 a month, or my Coven of Knitters tier for $21 a month. Can't decide? Don't. Subscribe to our Superfan combo level and gain access to both tiers at a discount. You can learn more about all of our Patreon offerings at patreon.com/Light from Lantern. Jim and I hope to see you there. If you're curious about palm reading, all you have to do is turn to our maker of magic, James Devine. Jim offers palm readings, tarot readings, and coaching packages all through his website, thedivinehand.com. I just completed Jim's Intro to Palmistry class, and I was astounded at how much I learned in just 4 days. As a knitter, I was immediately inspired by how different ways that you might hold the yarn or your knitting needles correspond with where that hits on our palms and what that might be saying about us. Jim's class is helping me decode this, and in the process, making me very comfortable with his method of palm reading, the Divine Hand method. I can't recommend taking a class or getting a reading from Jim enough. Keep up to date with all he has going on by signing up for his newsletter at thedivinehand.com and by following him on Instagram at divinehandjim. We're back. Jim, you alluded to this question earlier, but now I'm going to surprise it on you instead. Think back to these past 2 years. What are some things that stand out for you personally?
I was ready to ask the question, and now
Will
I'm
not
on the
answer it.
spot. When I think about the things that stand out, how being a podcast host has changed me, I think about the valuable feedback we got from your brother. That has changed me. And I think it's improved me in many ways as a speaker, as a teacher. I really appreciate that there are people who care about you, who love you enough, and who care about the podcast and care about me enough that he gave us really good and constructive criticism to say, hey, notice that you're doing this vocal inflection. You could improve in this area. If I had a fragile ego, I could be offended or take it personally. And I'm glad I don't, because all I want is from people who are actually in the arena, as Brene Brown says, people who are actually podcasting, to give me some of that feedback. Those are really great things that I look back that have changed me and helped me improve. I really appreciate that so much. And I appreciate those things that we have learned together as we've stumbled and discovered things.
Yeah, for me, this has been an extremely humbling experience. As I dive into a realm I know nothing about, 2 years later, I can reflect back and say, wow, compared to the one version of me that had absolutely no idea what to do or what I was doing, now I feel expert in comparison to that, even though I know the mountain ahead is still vast if I want it to be. And if you remember to stop and look back, you can see how far you've come. And that's why we're doing this episode.
Yeah, the power of reflection.
Yes, it removes your helpless, chaotic feelings to help you figure out a game plan again.
Yeah. Katie, what's one of the things you've learned about yourself as a person, as a practitioner, as a knitter, as a result of the podcast?
I would say definitely my magical awareness, I'm going to say, has expanded. And I say awareness because what I've really noticed is that Learning more about all of these topics that we've covered has helped me realize the magical things I was already doing that
Yeah.
were normal to me. And so they weren't special. And then I read a book from Kat and it's, oh, her psychic skill thing that she just wrote out. I do that. And I didn't even realize that I was doing that or what that even was. And so for me, having a growing awareness of the magical things that I'm already doing has been very empowering because now I can put that even more into my knitting and my making, which is the whole point of this. What about
Yeah.
you?
I love that. The day you came over and we recorded the whole thing about Katie learns magic, which was right
Yes.
after Jim learns knitting.
Yeah, that's right.
And when we did a candle magic spell with Madame Pamita's candles and materials, and you were just so curious and super into it. And that was just
Mm,
such a fun craft project. And just like me learning knitting and showing you my swatches and being like, it's messed up. And you're like, it's the karma of it. Just do it. That's how it is.
that's
I mean,
right.
it's so much fun and the creativity is there. So I love this is a way both to teach and for you to learn and to support that has been really fun.
What about you, Jim?
I think that one of the biggest things I've learned about myself is as an Aries, I don't always have the stick to itiveness. Start something and then get bored of it. And this has been something that has been durable for 2 years. And gosh, I'm still into it. I still love my friendship with you. I still love the podcast. I'm still on board. I love how we keep peeling back the layers in our own discovery of what it means to serve the listenership and who we are serving and how we are bringing the magic to the masses. Those are things that continue to fascinate and to inspire me. And for me personally, it helps me with my own business endeavors. It helps me learn about my own blind spots and where I need to open up my eyes and see things differently. I think also on a personal level, it's how my own artistic expression can influence by magic and that the living a magical lifestyle is everything we do. And it's a reminder that knitting is magic. It can be magic, that my everyday activities can be magic, that parking the car can be magical. So this is one of the things that's so inspiring to me is have knitting be a meditation, have knitting be not something that I have to do or that I must do, but that this is an inspirational moment of Zen and meditation and magic. So I think
Yes.
that's a big realization and learning.
That is such a great key. The fact that you are keyed into that before you're even like really a quote a knitter. I guess you are a maker already, so you have that awareness, but to not have it be so precious, to have fun with it. And remember, we don't have to knit. We are super lucky that we are in like whatever messed up industrial age that this is, that we can get a sweater, maybe even handmade for like dollars. Even for me, infusing these magical aspects into knitting has helped me be excited about knitting again because it can be like anything. You quote, become expert or enough where a lot of the mystery is taken out or the discovery period isn't there as it used to be. And so if you aren't actively looking for different ways to mix it up, it can be a little bland. But then you take a class from one James Devine that's intro to palmistry, and suddenly you're looking at your hands like, wait a minute, I'm casting on the yarn with my Mars Venus finger, my will thumb, and my leadership finger. Like, of course, those would be the ones that I'm starting a project with. And what does that mean for me as a knitter and how I'm holding the yarn? So, again, if suddenly something as mundane as just casting on a project, which honestly is sometimes my least favorite part of starting a project because of all the counting, is exciting again. Maybe all these numbers that I have to count, I'll count them in increments of 6 because that's a magic number. So,
Did knitting, I mean, you were doing knitting for a career, pretty much it was your whole world. Do you feel like you had gotten a little burnt out on the knitting world with dealing with the marketers and the shysters and the whole industry? Were you approaching that a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I have had the lucky vantage point of having pretty much like the entire experience that you could have being a knitter. I've worked on the retail side, I've been a customer, I know how to do the design work, I've made the yarn, like I know all about the blending. I've done the wholesale side, I've bought the stuff from the mills, I've designed it from through the mills. So I've been involved in a lot of areas. And when you get more involved in the business aspect, you end up doing less of the hobby or like that initial thing. I was the creative director at Skacel, but I was like not doing any knitting. I would knit together like swatches and stuff to test things and get information that way. But I would like never go to a yarn store after work, be like, dang, let's do more knitting because I was just burnt out at
Last thing you
doing
wanted
all
to
the
do.
things.
Right.
Yeah. So this has been a great way to find myself in it again. I can refocus on just being knitting designer teacher, not
Yeah.
have to also be the person making the yarn and marketing the yarn and selling the yarn and helping ship the yarn and pack the yarn and all that stuff. I can
Right.
be more focused.
And you can bring your own magic to it.
Yeah. And I was trying to fit my perspective into a brand that it didn't fit into. I think it's been worth it. And hopefully our listeners have enjoyed the ride too.
Yeah. The value of reflecting on the podcast is to see how far we've come and to celebrate our successes, to learn from the things that, we could do better. When you think about knitting, a knitting project, looking at the past projects from the beginning, it's hard for me to look at the swatches that I have sitting in my knitting bag because it's hard for me not to just look at how awful they are. How do I look at that knitting and reflection, and what magic can I bring to that? Why is it that you can look at my swatches and you have a different perspective on them?
I think removing the personal aspect to it is super helpful. So it's easier for me to look at your work and not take it personally because it's not my work, just like it's easier to read someone else than your own self.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that we are not really taught to reflect or the value of stopping to look back, and that's often not seen as doing the work, as we are often told by our business coach. If you're always striving to be better, you're never going to get there. The real joy is looking back to see how far you've come. You can do this in literally anything that you've gone from knowing nothing to anything about, and it will impress you if you just take the time to look back.
Beautiful.
And also, what is perfect? To me and to you, it's totally different. I think I've said this before. There's a quote out there, and I know, like, in particular, I've heard the Amish folk talk about it, where it's nothing is perfect except God. And so, even in all like the handmade quilts and things, there are purposefully made mistakes. And so, pressure's already off at that point. And if you can't handle knowing it's there or not, go to your fix it or frog it coin and then base what that says on how you're feeling afterwards.
And maybe that is perfection. We are perfect just as we are. That piece is perfect just as it is. It's the karma of the piece, maybe.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
you have a new puppy
Mm,
named Poppy.
yes.
Do you look at that little puppy and say, your little heart-shaped nose is a little uneven? I'm judging. Do you look at Poppy's little brown spots and say, I don't know if I really like the position of your spots. You're ugly.
I would never say that,
Yeah,
but
it is about the cutest puppy you've ever seen. I hope you all follow this dog on Instagram. The
oh
dog's
yeah,
Instagram is what?
Poppy Rocket. Yeah.
Poppy Rocket. You
Yeah.
have to follow this Instagram. It's the cutest dang dog ever. Oh
Yeah,
my
she's
God.
cute, I
Oh,
guess. And you're
ridiculous.
right. The fact that she's so cute is because she has little imperfections. She has like a little white spot on her nose here that makes her look like she has a little nose ring. And we were like, hey, it's the nose ring. She's got one like wonky eye. We love her wonky eye. People love mistakes. And we've often reflected on this too. People love to watch other people fail, but not necessarily always in the ha ha kind of way, in a, oh, you're human kind of way. You're more relatable all of a sudden.
You've said that so many times with this podcast where you will sometimes not edit as viciously as I would edit. I'm sometimes like, Katie, take out that. And you're like, no, people love it when we screw up. And I'm like, no, Katie, edit that out. You're like, yeah.
No, we're not perfect. We don't know everything.
It's because Katie is really about, it's how you are, Jim.
We're human. That's the reason I love you, is because you're perfectly you. And I don't want to change you. It's just embracing what you have to work with.
I love it.
And if you remember knitting's fun, or it should be fun, then that's where the magic begins.
It's knitting. Knitting is life. So if you screw up your knitting, you might as well I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can't possibly just tear it out and start again.
It's just knitting.
It's just dead fiber off of an animal. It's fine. Yeah, I know. Ooh, cute.
It's very goth of you. Can't I knit like leather strips together?
Yes.
Suddenly have
leather
an idea.
Strips, although it's not comfortable because there's not a lot of stretch.
I have an idea for a horror film, but that's another story. Okay.
Leather knitter. And follow our
This has been
Patreon
awesome.
for knitting horror movie script.
I can't
We
wait
made
till
it.
next week and all month where we talk all about our favorite episodes and celebrating Knit a Spell birthday.
Woo.
All of April. Thank you everyone for being with us these 2 years and for the wealth of podcast episodes that you have to pick from and to listen to from our archives. So stick with us all month and enjoy. And Katie, I will see you next week.
See you then, Jim. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for
listening.
If you enjoyed the show, consider sharing it with a friend, leaving a review on iTunes and Spotify, or following Knit a Spell on Instagram.
You can also subscribe to the Light from Lantern YouTube channel to enjoy full episodes of Knit a Spell and see our happy faces.
You can also learn more about readings, classes, and events going on with your favorite maker of magic, James Devine, by visiting thedivinehand.com and subscribing to his newsletter. Then follow Jim's fun and interactive Instagram account at DivineHandJim.
Keep up with Katie, the magical maker, by subscribing to her newsletter at lightfromlantern.com. You'll receive a free knitting pattern as a thank you gift. Then follow Katie on Instagram at lightfromlantern for even more magical making tips. See you next week.